It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And we are back to talk about the Real Housewives of New York and last night's literal shit show of an episode. This was such a funny episode, and I was reading the comments, and some people were like, this was disgusting to even watch. I can't continue to watch RHONY. I see why the ratings are dropped, but I didn't really feel that way. After watching this episode, I think Bershan is trying to solidify her spot, take her apple, but I just don't know if she's going about it the right way. Now, I don't want to just share my opinions with you guys. I have to bring up two special guests, as always, because I love having them on so much to engage in the conversation, and they always have so much to offer. And guys, also, I'll be dropping the StreamYard link today, too, if you want to join in the conversation. Before I bring them up, go ahead, smash that like button, and yeah, let's do this. That was kind of like my monologue, like Kempire's monologue. Okay, here we go. Hi, Miriam.
Hey.
Pretty preachy. Is that in regards to Eboni?
Yes, and we will answer this question. It's a question mark, not a statement.
Okay, here we go. How are we doing, Kempire?
The shade.
I learned from the best.
Well, good morning, guys. Good afternoon. How's it going?
Oh, great.
It's
Good.
going.
Okay, so I know we obviously all watched the episode last night. I want to do this rating from a 1 to a 10. And guys, anyone in the chat, I invite you to rate it as well. I want to see what the average number we get. I'm going to do ladies first. Miriam, a 1 to 10. What would you rate this episode?
Depends. As an informational and a mirror of society, I will give it a 10. And
Okay.
if I'm going to grade the reaction of the woman, a 5.
Okay, so let's meet in the middle and say a 7.5.
Yes.
Okay. Kempire?
I would give it a 7. It started off a little rough, based off of the conversations they were having last week. But I definitely think it came to a better place, towards the end. So a 7.
Okay. I'd honestly stick with you guys and go about a 7 as well. I think there were a few things that we obviously have to cover. I was not into the whole walking around and wearing the bonnets and looking at that. Like, everyone looks so bored in this setting. So Leah, I felt like you could have done better, but it wasn't up to Leah to hold this episode because Bershan did a damn good job. We're going to jump into this. Let's start here. Only because I have to get this over with while we wait for people to come in.
Oh, sure.
Oh, God.
What were we thinking about this tour?
There was.
Would you have been bored on this tour?
That was not memorable. And it was because it wasn't. Do I make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
It was educational in the sense that I guess it's a part of history, but at the same time, all of the women were like, 1, I'm not wearing that damn bonnet, and 2, what are we doing? They're all just like, give me a drink.
What I think that Leah is trying to portray as someone that wants to provide information as well, and she's following the footsteps of Eboni, but it's not landing the same way, at least not with me.
We have to remember it was a pandemic, y'all. There wasn't a lot of things open. There wasn't a lot of things for us to do. We're watching it now as the world opens up, but it was literally locked down at the time that they're filming this. So there wasn't a lot of things. And a lot of people here in New York were going upstate. They were going to nearby places like Salem. And
did you go to Salem?
No.
Okay. Just wondering.
But I saw a lot of people doing that, going to places they've never really gone before, in nearby distances.
All right,
Yeah,
so we have to give it
right.
to them because it's a pandemic. So had this not have been a pandemic, I'm sure we would have had a much better cast trip. And just to be fair, I was watching Love and Hip Hop last night, and they went to Dubai. So I'm just saying, they went to Dubai.
I'm surprised at the fact that you were watching Love and Hip Hop or the Dubai part.
Oh my gosh, I love
But
Love and Hip Hop. What do you mean?
Where would Leah take them if it wasn't a pandemic? I think the same place.
I don't know, Disney World, something?
Disney World.
It was open in Florida.
It would be more like a horror House of Horror.
Okay. Well,
Universal.
also getting back to this scene, in this conversation that Sonja is having with Bershan, she's again talking about her daughter, talking about being alone, talking about the townhouse, talking about her water pills, and that's why she gets so drunk so fast. The women are overhearing about it. And what I thought was so interesting was Eboni K. Williams was like, she's redundant. She keeps going on and on about it. And she just says the same thing over. But that's what the same women, or that's the same thing that the women are saying about Eboni K. Williams. It's kind of ironic here, even though Eboni K. Williams is talking about something that's important and not a freaking water pill that's making you drunk, when really you're drinking 2 or 3 damn bottles. It's very different.
In all fairness, Leah was really driving this whole, she repeats herself over and over again. Eboni really was just sort of like agreeing with her based on what she's seen so far from Sonja. And look, we've been watching the show since the beginning, so we know that's true. And they've just met this woman.
That's true.
Doesn't this happen when they want to make sure what they want to say gets on tape? They repeat and repeat so that they don't give the producers much choice to take it out?
Yeah, but she's repeated it for like 9 seasons.
We know.
How many times are you going to repeat it?
I agree. Maybe,
but she has a new audience. She has Bershan. Bershan's never heard this story. So she's like, I have to tell her my story. She has to get to know me.
True.
Okay. Well, before we got to this point, we found out, the night picked up where it left off in the tattoo shop. And obviously, Eboni K. Williams was trying to share her thoughts. And Ramona was kind of shutting her down with her ridiculous, as Leah calls it, white woman dance. And she wasn't listening to what Eboni had to say. She feels like, I've listened to you so many times, but I want to know, let's talk boys. Let's talk about your feelings. Let's talk about something else. And Ebony's like, you're not going to do that to me, Ramona. You're not going to shut me down.
Yes. And this is why I had the discrepancy in the ratings. I really wanted to give the woman's reaction a 1. Just because, but I gave a 5 just to be like, give them the benefit of the doubt. But what is exhausting is that they keep shutting her down. So it sounds like she's repeating herself because she's trying to get her point across and she's not letting them win. What is exhausting is really Ramona's reaction, period. Her reaction exhausted me. I was really like, I felt like I ran a marathon after the episode aired.
The thing that I have to say, Ramona has a true talent here, and I'm not talking about Leah, the way Leah explains her true talent of being able to just talk over you and you feel like you got nowhere in the conversation. But she has the ability to, she knows and she sees like her little spot where she can slide in. She's fighting back and forth with Eboni, and then she sees a moment to console her and just get back on good terms. And then she's hugging her and she's like, I love you and you're the best and you just need to open up, girl. Like, just open up. And I'm like, Ramona is kind of like a ping pong match in her own head. It's a lot.
She understands reality TV. She understands how to manipulate people. She's definitely a master manipulator. And look, when the rumors came out that she wasn't coming back, I understand good TV. Ramona is still good TV, and that's why she hasn't had a season off.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. She does. She attacks with one hand and she caresses with the other one.
Yeah,
and this is a tactic of people who are manipulators and emotional abusers.
And she also does have another special talent.
But this is what they do. So there's a blurred line here. This is why Ramona needs to be careful, because when she keeps like attacking and putting down people, not letting them talk, and then all of a sudden so it's like she gives them enough rope for them to suffer, but then to cling back to them. And she's mastering this with Leah.
Well, and she also, has another special talent, which I find interesting because we see so many other housewives like Dorit Kemsley, who she doesn't have a storyline on Beverly Hills, or we could go through every franchise and talk about housewives that don't have storylines, but Ramona really doesn't have a storyline. And I pointed that out in the Bravo firing video, and everybody was like, she doesn't need one because she's good reality TV. No matter what, you're still going to want to watch her because she knows how to keep everything moving. And it's kind of true. She's a master manipulator as far as like the storylines. And Elise Lane said this when I did an interview with her. She even said like, listen, Ramona called me and said, come onto the show and do this, this, and this. And then as soon as I was done and I didn't live up to her expectations, she threw away our long-term friendship. So she really just kind of plays chess master.
I think where Ramona, like I said, she's a master manipulator. And even if she doesn't have a storyline, we're still talking about her. She's the biggest storyline of the season. She's still involved in the biggest storyline of the season. Although the ratings are low, she's still the biggest storyline. So the rumors of her not coming back, I didn't believe it because, first of all, it's very early for those decisions to even be made. And now we've heard that a counter story is out saying that, no, that's far from the truth, but there is going to be a big cast shakeup. And you know who I'm rooting to get rid of.
Is Ramona bringing joy, though? Is Ramona bringing joy? No.
Really?
Yeah, but that's not. To be fair, is Erica Girardi bringing anyone joy? No, but people are still watching because they want to know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not going to watch. But the thing is, why are the ratings low? Because Ramona Turtle Time, that's the Ramona we want to see. Not Ramona now deflector. The deflector. She deflects. When she's uncomfortable, she doesn't want to talk about something, she deflects. Ramona, her magic, or what attracted me to her, was she was silly and goofy. And, so it was funny to watch.
Miriam, she's always been a deflector. She's always been who she is. Ramona has not changed since season 1.
Well, yeah, maybe because there were no issues like the ones that are being tried to be talked about in the season.
Well, she could get away with it before because nobody was really, aside from Bethany Frankel, putting in her place. But I do have a question. Obviously, these rumors are going about, and we have heard that production, they're looking into new cast members already before the season's already over because they know this is the lowest rated Real Housewives of New York season yet. Ramona is expensive because she's been on the show, and not expensive to be mean, but expensive because she's been on the show for 13 seasons, right? So with that, she requires a certain salary that she's earned over the years, and maybe Bravo doesn't want to pay that. So if Bravo does offer her a reduced role, a friend role, do you think she would take it in order to stay relevant? Or do you feel like she would take the Tamra Judge route and be like, no,
she would take it. She would take it. She would take a page out of LUANN's book, be a friend of, and to stay relevant. And I feel like Bravo, they're testing the waters. They didn't make a decision yet, but when they put rumors like those out and they counter, they want to see what side of the coin that the viewers are more leaned to. They want to know, is Ramona the problem? Believe me, they do focus groups about housewives. I wasn't cast to one of those.
Okay,
they do.
I do have a question. If Ramona, if she was to be taken off and they brought Dorinda back in, and say they brought in one more new housewife and lost Leah, do you think the show would be a better show? Or do you think, no, Ramona's a staple, we have to keep her around?
Ramona's not an anchor, not in my opinion. I don't feel like she's the main character or a main event is happening to her. She lost that opportunity when she was going through the divorce. She wouldn't even entertain talk about it at the reunion, remember? So she never really was up in front. Everything about her was at the surface, like things that anyone would know, like her daughter going to college, her and Mario. Nothing really deep. When something really shook her life, she chose not to share.
Okay.
Normally they would punish someone, if they didn't want to share. We saw that with Kenya, but they didn't do that with Ramona, and that says a lot. It says that she is a very important part of RHONY. And I look, when I heard the rumors, I was like, I don't necessarily believe it. Look, I'm going to report on it, but I don't believe it because, like I said, she's the biggest part of this season. And I think, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. Sorry.
I think the rumor that we heard about her not coming back, reportedly, sources are saying that it's another housewife putting out that rumor, and I think it's who I think needs to go.
Leah.
Okay, so you think Leah did it? Well,
sorry.
Do you? Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, can I ask you a question here?
Yes, please.
And I'm not bringing the race card just because we've been talking about it. But isn't this another instance of them applying different standards depending on which franchise? Why did they punish Kenya for doing the same thing that other housewives do, and they were not punished?
Different production companies too.
Yeah, and also that's true, Kempire. And also, I just want to point out, Kenya went and got married on their break of filming, whereas she got divorced, but she didn't really want to slam Mario or talk about the ins and outs of the divorce. She didn't go get. Now, if Ramona went and got married and all of a sudden came back and was like, "I have a husband," that would probably be a problem. And I
Her
do want to
divorce
think
was juicy. He cheated on her. We all wanted to know what happened. We wanted to see the woman. She found them like, in the kitchen counter.
Don't you ever question if maybe that was both ways with how all of the women act? Like, this is a very active group of women, to say the least. And I do want to point out one more thing. And guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button. Kempire, you did a video the same way I did a video on this because it was, in the moment, a hot topic, right? So with Ramona responding to the rumors and just putting red heart emojis, we've seen so many other times where like Robin Dixon from Real Housewives of Potomac was like, "I'm fired." Well, that's the first I've heard this. Or other housewives who will answer and be like, "I didn't hear anything about this," but she's not responding to it. She's just putting heart emojis. So do you think that maybe means anything, or no?
I think it means there is no contract yet for the new season. So her responding is just sort of like, just let's remind them how important I am to the show when it comes to negotiation time.
Okay. Well, there's one person who really doesn't like Ramona, and it's Kempire's favorite housewife, Leah McSweeney. Leah McSweeney was sitting there talking to her and trying to just tell her the agenda because Ramona likes an agenda, but she wants to work out, but she wants to sleep in, and she has so much going on and really doesn't even let Leah talk. And Leah's like, "Gosh, I'm getting a splitting migraine." I thought it was hilarious when she goes to call Sonja Morgan, and all of a sudden she's like, "God, I just talked to Ramona, and she gave me a splitting migraine." And Ramona's like, "What are you talking about? I'm on the phone. You're on speaker." I was like, "Oh, shit."
Wow.
Leah
exudes exactly the opposite of what she wants to portray. Just like I felt like just going back an episode back, she sounded so tone deaf when she brought a woman to guide her daughter to pick a high school. And people usually do that for colleges. And she wants to talk about social justice. Even if she can't do that, I felt like that didn't need to be on the show, just to be on theme with what you say. And she wants to talk about that Ramona is the one that talks ish about everybody else's on their backs. And she got caught on camera doing that, which was great.
But don't you think, though, I don't necessarily think it would be a problem, especially because Kempire can agree with this. In cities like Real Housewives of New York, and cities of like New York City or Los Angeles or Miami, and there's so many other cities too. I'm not saying it's just those. People like groom their kids from the time they're in pre-K to go to these prestigious schools. Didn't we watch Bling Empire where they like have to get into the best schools? So they actually buy new properties within those school zones in order to make sure their kids have the most prestigious education. I think that's all Leah's trying to do.
And then didn't we watch that on the early seasons of The Real Housewives of New York? That's serious business, especially here in New York, in regards to getting your kids into the right schools from early on, like preschool.
But isn't this a lot of privilege? Like privilege in the steroids? That's my point. I know it's been going on. And Leah, she wants to portray herself as the white one that's bringing like the social justice and supporting the first Black housewife. And then she does exactly what privileged people do.
But she never said she's not privileged.
I know, but I don't know. She's rubbing me off like so wrong this season. I really liked her the first season, but then this season, I'm like Kempire. I can't stand her. I really can't.
I just thought it was funny, though, that she would call Sonja, not realizing anytime they're on a girls' trip, Sonja and Ramona, even if they're not in the same room, they always end up in the same room.
They're literally linked together. They sleep in the same bed. They're like always coddling each other. They're hugging all over each other. They're like, they're doing, where is it? Where'd it go? This together. Which, by the way, that was so disgusting. We see in this episode where Ramona, there's stuff on the floor in the bathroom. I hate talking about this stuff. I just find it like, I can't. That's not me.
I can't either.
See?
Oh, God.
And I love how she says, it's my makeup. It's my makeup.
You're right. Unless you're Eboni K. Williams, what kind of brown makeup was that?
I don't know, but she has some splaining to do because it's. If you guys watch What Happens Live, even Eboni said, I know exactly what that is. And it's true. It's like, that is so gross. And then Sonja still goes out into the hotel, out into the world, out to dinner with the defecation on her foot. How great. Like, sometimes, like, even though that they're like in the upper class, like these wealthy, very privileged women who really have it all, they have some really nasty ways. If I had a friend who just shat themselves in the bathroom.
Cartagena. It's Cartagena.
Yeah.
This is Cartagena 2.0. Listen, even this is gross.
This is gross.
This is gross. If they're doing this in front of the camera, can you imagine the trips they go on and there's no cameras around?
I'm trying to understand though. Okay. I don't know. I don't understand the physical, whatever may be going on with Ramona. I don't understand how you go from that happening and not cleaning it up.
Exactly.
I think there's just so much going up like on in this head. I feel like there's like 6 different people up there and she's just so busy. And it's almost like when you're like not taking a step back and paying attention to detail. Like Jason gets onto me for this all the time because I rush out of the house and we go on a trip and he's like, do you have your wallet? Do you have your phone? I'm like, oh shit, turn around. I don't have either one of those. And how do you forget those? But I'm like, I have to walk the dogs. I have to make sure I do this. I have to pack. I have to brush my teeth. I have to do just things that are just like little things that you would think you would do every day. I miss them sometimes. I have a little Ramona in me, I guess, but not the bad kind. And I also don't have IBS, by the way. But AG said she needs medication. She has IBS. She did that on camera. No shame. Imagine her off camera. And Dear Dana said she doesn't even clean up after her own dog. I don't understand in a small bathroom how you walk out like you don't know. How does that happen?
And then you see Sonja come in and you're like, and she's about to go into the bathroom and you don't like, oh, wait.
Well, you shouldn't even have opened the door until you cleaned it up, you little dirty hamster.
Coming from Ramona, I feel like she doesn't clean after herself because she believes this is the help's job.
If she left that for one of the cleaning people to come in there and clean that up, she's horrendous.
They did. In Cartagena, they did.
I remember that, but I was like, look, I was trying to give her some leeway because she was so sick.
On Below Deck, the guy just peed all over the bathroom and left it for somebody to clean up.
I mean, that happens all the time.
I have traveled with my kids when they were young. Accidents happen when you're trying to change a diaper for a boy or a girl. You always clean up. You don't leave that for the hotel.
I even hate when I see people take their kids out to restaurants and like, especially I was a server for so long and people would bring their kids out to restaurants, which we all love kids, right? But Kempire, I see you. We all love kids, but I remember where people would sit them in the high chair and all of a sudden the kids throwing food. There's shit everywhere. And my brothers and sisters always and I'm not trying to give them credit because I could rip them apart sometimes, but they always like clean up and make sure that they left the restaurant as best as good as it was when they came in. As much as they could clean up, they would clean up. Even my stepsister, she carries like a Windex thing where she wipes the table because she's just like a little weirdo like that. And she makes sure that the baby does not make a huge mess. If someone is doing that for their kids, how do you not pick up your own defecation? This is just so great. I can't even believe this is a topic.
That is so embarrassing. I feel sorry for Avery.
Yeah. I feel sorry imagine what Sonja's daughter feels like.
Oh. But Sonja's not around pooping everywhere. She wears a diaper.
That's better.
That is better.
Yes, that's better.
Yeah, but it's
competition for Lisa Rinna.
Lisa Rinna did it for $1. She didn't do it because she has IBS.
She might be pitching for that. You never know. I wish I could see Sonja without Ramona in the picture, because when the scenes that Ramona is not around are the ones that I enjoyed the most. Even when they were talking I feel like Ramona, she she motivates this acting up on camera, and this
Right.
is another way she manipulates Sonja in being really a hot mess.
Some of my favorite moments are with Sonja and Ramona.
I agree with Kempire. And if you notice, Sonja really has Ramona's back, unlike Ramona with Sonja, because even when at the beginning, when they're at the tattoo shop and Ramona's like, I don't want to, and Sonja's finishing her sentences so she doesn't come off insensitive. Did you notice that? Sonja's always trying to help her.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently they're not enjoyable like they used to. Like, I'm not saying they're not funny. They are. But
Did you see that elevator scene?
Yeah, but that's so
like
played
it.
out. You falling against the thing and just being like, what are you doing? Your daughter has to watch this. You came from the Morgan family letters.
Here we go.
Well, oh my God, I can never hear a Wells Fargo like mentioned. Like,
I'm afraid to walk in Wells Fargo. I feel like Sonja's going to be a sniper on the side, like waiting for me to walk out. I'm never going to Wells Fargo.
I was walking
Yeah,
past
she will
Wells
be
Fargo
all
last
guns
week, and I literally heard Sonja's voice. Wells Fargo.
Me too.
That just says that we're on here too much.
Yeah.
But with that, we do obviously have to get to one of the biggest storylines last night, or at least for this episode. This went so south so fast. Now, Kempire loves Bershan Shaw.
For sure.
Bershan Shaw. Loves Bershan Shaw. I don't know how this went left so fast, and I'm curious what you guys think. I'm guessing it started at the tattoo parlor when Ramona and Sonja, they're talking back and forth, and they're like, we would never let our daughters get a tattoo. And all of a sudden, Bershan was like, so wait, are you judging? And Sonja's like, no, I'm not. Just shut up, Bershan. I'm not judging. I'm not. And she's like, well, it sounded like you were judging. And that seems like that's where it just went like this.
Can we talk about the scene when they were having dinner? When everybody thought that whatever Eboni was going to say was about Leah and not herself. Can we talk about that?
What do you mean?
When Leah started crying, like,
Oh.
I feel like she needs to make everything about herself, even when it's not. I understand.
You mean her fake cry?
You know, when she
Okay, he came here with that, by the way. He came so prepared with that. Do you see that, Miriam? You guys are on the same
I
wavelength.
saw that, and I agree with him. This is where I said she exudes exactly the opposite of what she wants to portray. She wanted to portray as this empath that she feels and connects with Eboni, but it came off like she made it about herself, to the point that the woman thought, like, wait a second, I don't think it's a good time because of Leah's reaction. She goes, no, this has nothing to do with Leah. And come on, Leah, take a seat.
But I can look at this both ways and play devil's advocate a little bit here.
Leah's advocate, you mean?
No. Leah crying, fake. Oh, the real witches were in Salem that night.
Oh!
They were not.
Okay. Kempire, they love your little tissue. It just
Did
looks
you make
fake.
it pointy?
All that Botox. No, fake. Wow. Hi, Gail. How are you?
Comic style, make it pointy.
No, but I think that just like devil's advocate, I feel like if anybody were to empathize with her the most or sympathize with her, I think in that moment, it obviously would have been Leah because it was so fresh and that just happened to her. But the cry was like, it's the same thing. I'm hoping that when we watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and we see Erica Girardi crying, it doesn't look the same. I'm hoping if you're going to do a fake cry, you're in showbiz. Somebody needs to, Brad Pitt has an acting coach on set. Somebody needs to get you an acting coach because that shit's not working.
That Erica Girardi cry, though, I'm sure you saw the clip. That looks real.
That looks real.
Leah, I was like, you're either laughing or that's not crying. I don't know.
Kempire, do you have an ugly cry face?
I do.
He has the perfect tissue fold now. Show him.
No.
Kempire, I can relate. I have the ugliest cry face. When I start crying, it's like Kim K and Jason starts laughing at me. He's like, what are you doing with your face? I'm like,
oh my God.
It's like,
that's why I cry alone in the dark in a corner.
Oh, that's even more depressing. Well, getting back.
I have 50 shades of cry. I have ugly, I have cute, I have quiet, I have hot mess. I have the 50 shades.
Mine's usually hot mess, but okay. Getting back to this Bershan Shaw and Sonja Morgan, we finally go out to dinner that night, and Bershan, I just feel like she's missing a mark here. She has an opportunity to join the show. She can come into the cast. She is being welcomed in with open arms in the moment. all she has to do is just try to get to know the women before she starts eviscerating them. And the first thing she says to all of the women is, you guys are like grandmas. Okay. You guys are like grandmas and you're boring as hell. Well, Sonja Morgan obviously didn't like that. And it was insulting. And when LUANN started sticking up for herself, I think she was like, I was so nervous. I just didn't know how this was going to go. I was like, is this?
LUANN was triggered. You saw LUANN? LUANN got really upset. Who are you calling grandmother? LUANN, you're 2 steps from being a grandmother. Calm down.
Oh my God, she got triggered by being called a grandma, but she couldn't understand why calling Eboni angry triggered her. I'm like, I can't.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good one, actually.
This is for me, was like, please. First of all, like in Watch What Happens Live, I watched Eboni there. I agree with her. Grandmas are the ones with the bag. Grandmas are the ones to please. There's nothing wrong with being a grandma, especially when you look like LUANN.
Well, on Atlanta, they call them aunties, but here
exactly,
we call them grandmas. No, I think it was really triggering. And I think the only reason, had it have been Ramona calling LUANN and Sonja grandmas, or maybe even Leah being like, you guys are acting like grandmas, maybe that would have been less triggering. But I think it's because they haven't even had a moment to get to know Bershan at this point. So they're kind of like, who the hell are you coming in here and calling us boring and grandmas? And I loved when LUANN, even though I'm rooting for Bershan, I was just surprised. And I love the reaction where LUANN goes, well, there's the door. And she's like, I'm not going anywhere. Ramona invited me here. I'm here to stay. I was like, not for long if you keep talking like that.
But let's be real. Bershan was speaking for the viewers. The viewers would agree with her. They were saying, the ratings have been saying that it's been boring. So she basically was calling them out. Yes,
I agree with Bershan. Like, as much as, she came off maybe too strong or too kissy to LUANN's, derriere. It's like LUANN, she got so upset. Like, she's so vain. Her looks are so important to her core existence. And this is where
like all of them.
No, LUANN, especially LUANN, because it was like, she couldn't understand the reaction that Eboni had to her when it was so deep. And but you're talking about my looks. She got even more outraged. She showed the emotion that she deprived Eboni from showing that day at that curry lunch thing with Garth.
Can we talk about the hypocrisy of Leah? Look.
Oh yeah.
when Bershan called them grandmas, and she was like, how could you call these women grandmas and you don't even know them? But she's age shamed them last season. This season alone, she called them boomers. Come on, girl.
Well, and not only that, there was another thing that Leah got pissed off about, and it was when Bershan was calling Sonja a hoe for twerking. And she's like, how do you just come in here and you call a woman, like, you don't call a woman a hoe. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like,
you're a hoe, you're a hoe, you're a hoe.
You went around the whole table. You didn't call just one woman a hoe. You went around the whole table and addressed it. If the chef was there, the chef would have been a hoe too. You called everybody a hoe.
Probably he is.
The naked man, the daughter, like, Leah, that's not necessarily fair because you went around the room. And this whole thing with Bershan and Sonja, it escalated so fast. It was like you couldn't put it out because it went from you're a hoe. Well, that was later, but it went from you're a grandma, you're boring, and then it was like you're a phony and you're a clown.
Again, Leah doesn't want to come off as a hypocrite, but she is.
I think she used this as a moment to chime in and get.
She wants a moment in every scene.
Right.
Leah.
And let's be real. Sonja is a little bit of a clown. Come on, we are all laughing at her. She's a bit of a clown.
But I think if she would have been like, hey, Sonja, you're such a clown. Like, that would have been different than you're a clown and you're always twerking and doing this and this and this. And like, that is maybe a little bit different.
We all love Sonja, but nothing that Bershan said wasn't true.
Well, technically, there was something that she said that wasn't true. And it was when she was calling out the fact that she's like, Leah, I just want to say, some girls in the background have been chirping about you. She's like, about me? What? Say it. And she's like, well, I don't want to start anything. It's like, wait a minute.
I don't need footage
on the grenade and not wanting to throw it.
I don't need footage to prove that happened. I know for a fact that happened because that's what they do. And Bershan, like I think the problem that Sonja has with Bershan is really she's being jealous because she's coming as the +1 of Ramona. And wait a second, Ramona, why are you bringing someone else? So I feel like this is where Sonja's reaction and the lack of giving her like a pass for calling her a clown comes from.
I think though she's bringing Bershan in because she's trying to counter, like, because
inclusive, diversity.
Yes, I think that, and I also think it's because it can come off, and I think Ramona has been on reality TV long enough to know that some of these difficult conversations she's had with Eboni haven't painted her in the best light because she keeps dismissing the conversation. And I think that this is her way of saying, like, no, I just am not here for what Ebony's preaching to me, but I also still have my good friend over here, Bershan. And I think that it's like a very calculated move. I could be wrong, but that's how I'm
feeling. Because we never saw Bershan. Remember she had that party just last season with all of her closest and dearest friends?
All of her blonde, white, old friends?
Exactly.
Yes. Older friends, I mean. Yes. I didn't mean old. I meant older.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, getting back to it though, they end up all getting up from the table, and honestly, again, this wasn't even that big of a deal. Bershan saying that, it was almost like she wanted to say something in the moment to have this sort of relevancy. But when they played the clip back, Ramona didn't really say anything that we didn't already know. She was like, well, "Are you friends with Leah?" She's like, "We're working on it." They are working on it. They're not best friends, and she didn't really say anything bad. So for Bershan to kind of drop that bomb, I just thought it was hilarious that the women got up in like unison, and they're like, bye, 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 bye. We're out of here. It's like, okay.
Bershan stirred the pot, and she made the episode interesting.
But how do you stir the pot against the only person who brought you in? At least like wait a season, then go after her.
No, I'm glad she didn't wait a season.
I think
she was bored. She was bored, and I know plenty of friends like this that when they're bored, they like to start trouble, i.e. Kenya Moore. She said she was bored, and that's why she started the Bolo situation. So Bershan is a shero.
Yes, I agree for the episode, but like I'm not liking her a lot. I thought I was gonna like her more, but at least I feel like she's not gonna disappoint me, because some people, you like them too much, and then when you peel the layers, you're like, oh, you're not what I thought you were. So I like that Bershan, she's showing the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, but she's not necessarily, and I like Bershan, but there's a few just missteps here. And one of them is her saying that, oh, I got drunk and I say things when I got drunk. And I agree with Leah. She's like, no, I know what drunk looks like. You're not drunk. And usually when you're drunk, you're not saying that you're drunk. Leah. So for Bershan, I'm like, if you're going to say it in the words of Lisa Rinna, own it like that.
Do you think Ramona didn't talk ish about Leah's back? Of course she did.
I'm sure she talked about everyone.
Exactly.
So that happened.
They all talk. Sonja Morgan said LUANN has eyebrows like a drag queen.
Oh, remember when Ramona called LUANN Lou Man when she was coming to in that scene to surprise Jill Zarin? That was my favorite Ramona moment ever in history of Housewives.
That's not very nice. But what's also not nice is it takes me back to that movie with Rob Schneider where they switch bodies. Do you remember, with the girl in high school?
Yes.
Okay. So the little brother's name was Booger, and he liked to dress up like a girl, and he liked to wear heels. And the dad was like, come on, Booger, if you're going to wear those heels, you have to learn how to walk in them. For me, I feel like I'm not fashionable. I'm not a woman. But if you're going to wear these fashions and these earrings, you have to learn how to put them in, the order that they go. It's not Nelsha. It's Shut Nell. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but her earrings are on backwards. Oh. It's not Nelsha.
I think the Gwen doesn't like that Bershan has a deep voice like hers.
I think, Bershan's voice gives me that, I really like her voice. It reminds me of a Disney, who is it? I don't know. I'll think of it in a little bit. It's kind of like Ursula-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has that like deep, like if I would wonder what her singing voice would sound like. But no, she definitely held her own. And when they took it to the bar area, she was really relying on Eboni to have her back. And she was like, listen, Eboni, we're sisters. Like, you come on, like, help me out here. And Ebony's like, girl, you're on your own.
Because you didn't help me out when I needed you.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like, you're on your own. I'm sorry. You can.
And Eboni gave a pass to Leah that she didn't give Bershan. And that is the only moment that I got disappointed with Eboni. I don't know if it's because something else happened and we didn't watch. And this is like, and it already happened to Eboni. This is why she doesn't like Bershan. But in Watch What Happens Live, she goes, oh, Leah, when she called everybody a hoe, she was joking. But she wasn't.
Yeah, but she's just showing loyalty.
Yeah,
she's
but I don't
loyalty
like
because
loyalty. This is not a cult.
Okay, well, kind of. I mean, they are kind of like their housewives are like their own little cult. But also, at the end of the day, Leah has had Eboni's back since day one, and you know, if Leah ever did go up against Eboni, the fans would eat Leah apart for many reasons. One, because she's not a fan favorite and people already want her off the show. And two, in light of the times that they're filming in, like, Eboni is not saying anything bad. She's just saying, this is my life's work. These are things that are important to me. I'm going to speak on them. You're not going to silence me. And she's not going out there and shatting on the floor. Like, then maybe Leah would have something to say, but she's not, you know, like, Eboni's not giving them any ammo.
Oh my God. And I'm shitty.
The minute you start talking about that, I can't with that particular scene. I can't.
Well, you better start, because it's probably, if Ramona comes back, it's not going to be the last time that it happens. But we do get to the bar, and it all of a sudden comes back up again. Ramona put out this fire. She's like, I don't know what Bershan's doing. You're looking crazy right now. She's like, okay, I'm going to fix this. She tries to fix it. We go back to the bar, and boom, you're a clown again. You're a clown. You're a phony. She's a drunk. It's like, Bershan.
But it's true. But it's true. As much as it pains me to admit it, it's true.
And she proves it. And we're going to see it unfold next week. How much of a clown and how uncontrollable Sonja really is. She's breaking things in this hotel. Her and Bershan go head to head. I'm like, this looks crazy that there was a physical altercation possibly.
Why is she taking the water pill still? I thought she stopped.
She did. It's not the water pills.
That is not the water. Did you see the craft of Pinot Noir? That is what she's taking. But also,
impressive the way she drank the wine through the mask. Not a drip. I was waiting for the drip to go.
Me too. I was surprised by that. Yeah, that's a talent. They all have their own little weird talents. Like,
but again, we're getting another classic moment from Sonja Morgan.
That is classic. That is iconic.
And we will remember this because it's a pandemic. We're like, remember when Sonja drank wine straight through her mask?
Yeah, if I tried to do that, I would have it. I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't want to waste a drip of it. So I wouldn't even attempt it. But I guess at the point that you're already like,
I predict this is going to be a game in BravoCon. Who can drink wine through the mask without dripping?
If you're right, I owe you $50.
Okay.
She's gonna make it a thing.
Just bring me as your executive.
She's gonna start messaging like the execs at NBC, and she's like, "I have a game for you." Okay, but
they're listening.
Really quick, I do have a question, because getting into the episode next week, we see where they're all of a sudden like it's chaos, right? There's this moment finally explodes, and she slams something. You hear something break, and it looked like it was the little glass door to the fire extinguisher. Yep. Isn't that technically illegal? Mm-hmm. If you break it without it actually being needed?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because she triggered all the fire department. Automatically, when that breaks, the alarm goes off and they're gonna show up.
That's really production getting so involved.
I'm wondering what that and because they don't want Bershan to mop the floor with Sonja. Let's be real. Sonja Morgan might be a lot of things, but I don't see her holding her own. I feel like Leah could take her, Ramona. She's had enough stuff in her life where she would probably mop the floor. Like, Sonja is just kind of like,
she's got drunken strength trainer. New boxing trainer.
I don't know if she has drunken strength, but she got a.
I would love to see both of them hook up.
Who?
Sonja and the boxing trainer.
They probably already did.
Okay.
I'm just saying, Sonja.
The boxing trainer
came out with all kinds of tea this season in regards to people she's hooked up with.
The boxing trainer looks like a jacked Uncle Bo.
Do tell.
It doesn't matter. Have we met Sonja?
That's true, but I was surprised by the Ryan Serhant thing too.
I wasn't.
I wasn't because
I was on his side. His wife's beautiful. Sonja's beautiful too, but
it was before. It was before.
Oh.
It was before he got married.
And drunken nights, it doesn't matter.
True.
Yeah, it's at the Carlisle, right? Or what is the place that they go to?
Oh, what was the name of the place?
Studio 54?
No.
What?
That's where LUANN goes for the cabaret. No.
Did I tell you guys I watched cabaret show?
LUANN's?
Yes. Oh my God. That was...
Is it
I
good?
was going there thinking it was going to be a joke. Let me tell you, one of the funnest nights I ever...
Oh, you went in person?
Yeah, when she came to Red Bank, I went with my girlfriend. We went to watch. It was so funny. It was, I think, because as a Housewife fan and avid watcher, it felt like a diary of my own, and I could remember everything. So that was so fun.
I think it would have been more funny had we have not heard cabaret like 15 times. Like it became a drinking game for any Real Housewives of New York super fan or fan in general. Like people.
That was
cabaret. Cabaret.
That was when it first came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you're giving her props. We can take that.
Yeah.
Everyone's reminding us the name of the place is the Regency.
The Regency.
Oh God.
Thanks, guys. LOL, not Studio 54. I'm not feeling Bershan, Kevin.
Or as LUANN called her, blah.
Oh.
Money can't buy your clothes.
Okay. So what are we looking forward to most next episode in order to wrap this up? And guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, show some love. But what are we looking forward to most? Kempire.
Definitely this fight between. Look, I know they're going to get over this fight very quickly because Sonja does not hold a grudge against anyone, and she'll make it sweet and make it nice, as Dorinda would say. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. But I hope there's more left coming up in the season besides this, because this is a lot of what we've seen in the super trailer has already played out.
Well, since you said make it nice, do you think Dorinda would have responded the same way, being called boring and a grandma?
Oh, well, now that she had a few drinks.
We
already know what the hands would have looked like.
Yeah, she would have been like, clap. Yeah, we need her back. Everybody, when I do videos and I say it because
you have an easy pass
coming. Oh my gosh, on that Holland tunnel of a no. Okay, all right, Miriam, what are we looking forward to most?
Dorinda coming back and Tinsley. I want them both back in the show. I want them to reconcile because I'm going to watch. I'm not saying that I'm not, because I can't look away, but it's like I'm disappointed. I expected more. I expected to be, of course the fight is gonna be like the highlight. Can we call that? And I feel guilty calling it, but like I need more. I need them to be funny. I don't want just a sloppy drunkenness. I want the comedy that they used to bring, like the smart comedy. Like New York's Housewives, they always have.
Well,
and
that's
I feel
like Bethany Frankel, and she's gone.
Yeah, and this is what I was gonna say. I feel like we are really like feeling the withdrawal of Bethany on the show. For me, Bethany, I watched her her show on Netflix. I didn't feel like that is her best. I like the show, but Bethany, she's really at her best, giving commentary on what happens. Like the confessionals of Bethany are to die for, and we are missing those. We need Bethany just to comment on the show. Don't come on the show, don't have cameras on, just watch the show.
Like a people's couch with just Bethany.
Yeah, oh, that would be golden.
No, I need her to let this go and move forward. She is running $1 million company. She needs to evolve beyond the Housewives. I would love Bethany to come back, but at this point, she's done so much in regards to her business. It just seems such a downgrade for her to go back to reality TV. And her reality show on HBO Max really sucked, unfortunately.
I don't think she's having fun. I don't think her niche was really what made us all love her, was seeing her in the Housewives. I get it. She's not going to come drunk. She doesn't need to do that. But like her confessionals, like when she would like comment on what happened,
Yeah,
Those
she
were the
would rip
best
people
moments.
apart in like less than 5 seconds with her words.
Yes, I'm like,
That's a special talent, and it's not
That's a
defecating
special-
on a floor.
that's her niche. That's her niche.
All right. Okay, Empire.
Oh,
All right, guys.
Okay,
Well,
Empire King.
with that, Jason's taking his lunch break, which means I'm going to go take my lunch break. And I have 2 more pre-records coming your guys' way right after this, so stick around. Make sure you hit that like button. Show some love. I have a monologue coming up for you in less than 30 seconds. Miriam, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me. Let me give you an update. I reached 50 subscribers.
Did you?
Yes, I'm like, where did it come from?
How did you go from 5 to 50 when you were sitting at
Now
5?
I'm 50 on YouTube. So, everything, like every marathon starts with this step. I guess I'm really thankful for all of them, although I don't put content here.
I was about to say, you need to
I
put
follow
something
you
up.
both for content. So let's keep it real here. But on Instagram, I have more fun there. Not_paid_by_anyone.
Yes.
And yes, follow me there.
Yeah, and yesterday I saw where the comments were like, put their information inside the description. It was in the description for yesterday's video. And as soon as I get off here today, I will put the description for Kempire and Miriam where you can go find them. Watch this.
Yeah.
Come on,
Guys, you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Kempire Daily, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. And of course, subscribe to my podcast, Kempire Radio.
Yes. Jason and I have been on the podcast. Great
like, and
podcast.
subscribe.
Comment, like, and subscribe. And Kempire has a real talent, just like Ramona. It's not defecating on the floor, I don't think, but he does know how to make you cry. So if you want to cry,
They can actually see the actual podcast video version on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel.
oh, great. So then he shows you after you cry. So fantastic. Fantastic. All right.
He
I know,
made me
but
cry
there's
that day too. As a
Kempire,
mother.
Miriam, thank you guys again so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you guys.
Thank you.
Tomorrow or tonight, don't forget, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is going to be on, so that's going to be interesting.
Ooh.
I'm sure we're going to be covering it, and I can't wait to see how the women react. Watch, it's going to be at the end of the freaking episode. I already feel it. It's going to be at the end, and that's when she starts crying, and that's when they're going to cut out and be like, to be continued. But we'll have to wait and see. Guys, see
Kathy
you next
Hilton
time.
is going to save it.
Well, let's hope so.
Yes.
Bye, guys. All right, guys. So again, I'm going to be posting where you can find Kempire and Miriam inside of the description below. I'll have it up in less than 1 minute. So go ahead and follow them. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Smash that like button. Show some love. It all means something. And I have 2 more pre-records coming up. You guys are going to be excited about these ones. Bye, guys.